Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Weekend Ahead. I'm Nick Hart, and what a weekend ahead it is. Not only will you Penguins fans be watching to see what the team does, eyes from around the American Hockey League are going to be tuned in, trying to see what happens when the Penguins face off against the Toronto Marlies in a clash between the number 1 and number 2 ranked teams in the entire AHL. In fact, the last time the two teams played about 2 months ago, they were both still ranked number 1 and number 2 in the league. Toronto ended up coming out victorious 4-3 in a shootout, and neither team has slowed down the pace since that meeting. In fact, these are the only two teams in the league to be in the top 5 in both goals for per game and goals against per game. The player to watch for Toronto is none other than the absurd second-year forward out of Sweden, Willie Nylander. Nylander has 40 points this season, and his production was put on pause for a little bit when he sustained an injury at the World Junior Tournament, but since returning from that ailment, he has 6 points in his last 5 games. After the matchup with Toronto, the Penguins head to Rochester for their only visit of the season to play the Americans. Last time the Penguins faced off against Rochester, they were triumphant, 3-1, outshooting the Americans by a 41-16 margin. The Americans have somewhat improved since that point, climbing a spot in the North Division standings and reducing their goals against per game. But in terms of offense, Rochester has no players that have reached 30 points this season, whereas Wilkes-Barre Scranton, 5 different players have reached or exceeded that 30-point plateau. Once again, a look at this weekend schedule for the Penguins. On Friday night, they go to Ricoh Coliseum to play the Toronto Marlies in a clash of the Titans, the number 1 and number 2 overall teams in the league. They get the day off on Saturday and time to prepare for the Sunday evening game, 5:05 start with the Rochester Americans. This was your Wilkes-Barre Scranton Weekend Ahead. We hope to see you at the rink.